Better bomb, better. Better, 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 better bomb, better. Better, better, better bomb, better. Better bomb, better with the drugs. Better with the big love, with the gun in my brain, gon' bang on. Better with the drama.
Now to a story that we've been following, a father's search for answers after his son vanished more than 2 months ago.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley. He was last seen leaving his work site in Buckeye that morning. A month later, his Jeep was found in a ravine, but there was no sign of Daniel.
Team 12's Josh Sanders spoke with the private investigator hired by Robinson's family, who has not given up hope of finding Daniel.
Jeff McGrath is an expert at reconstructing accidents, but says when he saw the state of Daniel's Jeep, something was off.
Immediately when I saw the vehicle, I noticed there was something that wasn't right with it.
On July 21st, nearly a month after his disappearance, Daniel Robinson's 2017 blue Jeep Renegade was found rolled over in a ravine. Just miles from his work site, the airbags deployed, and no sign of the 24-year-old.
The damage didn't match with the terrain and where it was laying.
Where's my son?
Daniel's father, David, brought in private investigator Jeff McGrath to piece together what led up to the crash. Buckeye police handed over the Jeep and their report from the vehicle's airbag control module, or ACM, showing what happened after the airbags were deployed. McGrath's team ran their own analysis.
After the airbags came out, somebody turned that ignition over at least 46 more times. That's not normal. We usually see one or two because it adds one when we download the box. We have to put power to it.
The ACM also records the vehicle's speed.
There's an additional 11 miles on the car since the airbags deployed. So that tells me the car was driven around after it crashed.
Buckeye police are now analyzing data from the Jeep's entertainment system connected to Daniel's cell phone. McGrath says the system shows the Jeep was involved in a collision around 1 p.m. on June 23rd, nearly 4 hours after he was last seen.
We have a gap in time and we don't know where he went, what was going on at that point. By looking at the photographs, it doesn't match the area. Sometimes those could be a staged event, and this looked like a staged event to me.
At this time, the department has no evidence to suspect foul play or a crime. McGrath doesn't believe Daniel's disappearance was criminal either, after discovering he may have been struggling with his mental health weeks prior to his disappearance. Whatever the reason, his goal remains to find Daniel Robinson.
We want to bring him home to his family so they can have some closure.
I'm not going to give up. I'm not leaving until I see him again.
Josh Sanders, 12 News.
Okay, today's reading on Daniel Robinson, I was going to go through a little bit of what's on the Wikipedia site. There's just so much information on this that it just makes it real confusing. There's 2-3 different things that's going on in his life at the time that he's went missing. So let's just start at the beginning here. He was last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd at around 9:15 in the morning. Okay, I want to first off start by pointing this little piece of information out, or missing information, I guess you could say. I had read an article on a news site that had interviewed Daniel's dad, and he had stated that the last person to see Daniel was a law enforcement official, and that he had seen him cleaning his Jeep. And for some reason, that's not listed, or wasn't listed, on the Wikipedia site. That wasn't even mentioned, and that was kind of, I don't know, that kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit. So I took it upon myself to edit the Wikipedia and add that information to it, because I did go back and read what Daniel's father had said during that interview, and I pretty much verbatim put it into the Wikipedia. That just, I don't know, that just made me feel a little odd there. But now it says Robinson was last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021, where he was working as a geologist. A federal law enforcement official relayed to Daniel's father that he had seen him later that morning cleaning his Jeep. He stated that Daniel seemed clear-headed, and they spoke briefly about target practice. The official confirmed that there was no damage to the Jeep at this time. On July the 19th, a rancher found the Jeep rolled over on its side in a ravine on his property with the airbags deployed and evidence in the vehicle indicating that the driver was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Several personal items of Robinson's was found with the vehicle, such as his cell phone, wallet, keys, and clothes. Okay. Now, when you go on down to the investigation, it says that after the discovery of the Jeep, Robinson's family hired an accident reconstructionist and private investigator who claimed that the accident scene had been staged, stating that after the airbags deployed, the ignition was turned over an additional 46 more times, and there was an additional 11 miles on the car that registered after the car had crashed. Investigators in October 2021 announced that Robinson had been texting a woman he met while delivering for Instacart and reportedly was invited inside her home and exchanged numbers with her. Later text messages showed that he visited her home several times unannounced, and the woman indicated that she was extremely uncomfortable with his actions. Police initially interviewed friends, families, and co-workers about Robinson being suicidal over the relationship, but all told investigators that he was not. Okay, that's another little twist to the story. Make sure there's nothing else on here for point of reference. Okay, I think that's all so far as information is pertaining to him going missing. All right. That's a lot of different ways to twist and turn here. I mean, the law enforcement official, him leaving work, the girl that he met on Instacart, it's all kind of scattered, I guess. There was an article I read that had stated that his sister and some of their friends were reporting that he was acting seemingly off. Let me find where that is. That was what I was looking for. I do want to say that his family has set up a website. It's pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I'll put a link in the description. And they also are having a public volunteer search on January the 8th this year, 2022, from 7 to 11 in the morning. So if you're in Arizona, do a good deed and go help. Okay, that's the Wikipedia. Please help finddaniel.com. Okay, this may be it. Okay, Daniel showed up to his work site at 9 that morning, where a coworker reported that he was acting strangely, staring into the distance and talking about things that did not make sense. After about 15 minutes, Daniel left. Well, this is a long article. This is another interview with his dad. David noted that his son's Instagram was scrubbed to post before his disappearance. That's kind of odd. The report also lingers on Daniel's reported fixation on a woman named Caitlin, to whom he delivered groceries while working a side gig for Instacart. His sister told cops that Daniel said he was in love with Caitlin and that she told him to listen to a podcast by spiritual teacher and self-help author Eckhart Tolle that changed the way he looks at life. Caitlin, however, told police she had no relationship with Daniel. Another friend of Daniel said the missing man told him he hooked up with one of the girls he delivered to, and that she and a friend invited him to hang out. Caitlin told cops that Daniel began to get creepy, showing up at her house when she wasn't there and texting her that he loved her. When she told him to stop bothering her, he texted her one last time the day before he went missing. The world can get better, but I'll have to take all the time I can or weekend, whatever, to name it. I'll see you again or never see you again. Well, that's weird. See, his Jeep was found by a local rancher 3 miles from his work site. What appeared to be his clothes on the ground next to the vehicle. That's strange as well. The damage to the vehicle didn't match the location it was found in. Says the Jeep suffered significant damage consistent with a front impact that caused it to roll. The front window was shattered, and there was substantial damage to the lower front, as well as the windshield and roof. Says the car was going 30 miles an hour before the airbags deployed. Alright, so there's a lot of strange factors in this case. The weird behavior. Okay. So I've wrote out 10 questions to ask the cards about Daniel Robinson's disappearance. This is Daniel Robertson. Daniel Robinson. He went missing June 23rd, Arizona. Daniel Robinson. The first card is going to give us the circumstances surrounding the day Daniel went missing, and that is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. That's not unwelcome news regarding finances or property. Young people that's roommates or that you live with, or friends with immature tendencies. Now the reasons regarding the circumstances, and that's the Six of Pentacles, which is a card that shows someone helping a friend with a temporary cash flow problem, lending somebody money. So that would be, well, that would lend creed to lending money to somebody, putting you into finance or property unwelcome news. Young people you live with or friends with immature tendencies. Yeah, that goes together there. That's the circumstances surrounding the day he went missing. Okay, the next one is going to be his state of mind. What were the forces or the reasoning behind him seemingly being off, as his co-workers and friends stated? That is going to be the Fool reversed. That's your mouth working ahead of your brain. Showing you making unwise decisions without thinking things through, without thinking about the consequences or what could follow it. Ooh. It's also leaping without awareness, not even thinking, which leads to sabotaging your chances due to desperation and irrationality. That right there sounds like him thinking about that girl, what had happened with that girl. That Caitlin from Instacart. The next one is going to be the circumstances surrounding the wreck or the damage that was done to the Jeep. That's going to be the Seven of Cups. That's choices and confusion. Not being able to separate or not being clear on what's fantasy and reality. Choices and confusion. Not clear on what's... Okay. The next card is going to be the environment. And Daniel's environment that day was being completely immersed in the pain of truth. It's the pain of truth being so clear and concise that there's no room for doubt. All the clouds have cleared on you. You know exactly what the reality of, or the pain of the truth of something is, even though it's not the answer or the truth that you were wanting. That also sounds like the girl from Instacart. All right, the next card is going to be the perpetrator, and that's the Knight of Swords reversed. That's someone that's out of control, somebody who leads others to trouble or to danger. It's being insincere, self-obsessed. He's somebody that's rude, tactless. Somebody has an inferiority complex. It's aspected as a male who's overly cocky and impulsive. You can also look at it as somebody that's a bully, because that's how vicious and dangerous this person is. So it's a male. We see that. The next is going to be the motives, and that's the Judgment reversed. That's showing somebody refusing to learn from past karmic lessons. Taking the focus off of your own shortcomings by being overly critical of others. I also can indicate a legal matter or a court case being resolved, but the flip to that, or it's in reverse, is it's resolved in an unjust manner to you, though. Huh. Sounds like this person just had was one of those people that had to make somebody else feel bad in order to feel good about themselves. Now the next card is going to show us how the events unfolded, and that's the Wheel of Fortune. In this aspect, the Wheel of Fortune shows a chance meeting, an unexpected offer out of the chance meeting. How the events unfolded. So the police officers. The police officer's been on my mind, not just because why would they not be included in the Wikipedia under people that either was witnesses seeing him, and if you think about it, that police officer or the law enforcement official is technically the last person to see Daniel alive. So I'm thinking that it was a chance meeting there, him talking to Daniel about target practice. I kind of wonder if it's an unexpected offer, if he didn't offer for Daniel to come along and shoot guns with him. Now, next is going to show us how to link the perpetrator to the victim, and that's the Nine of Pentacles reversed. It's vanity and ego on the high side, on the materialistic side. Misuse of money, overindulgence, somebody who's spoiled. Vanity and ego, misuse of money. All right, the last card is going to be the last words, and that's the High Priestess. High Priestess is a card of hidden knowledge and mystery. That definitely explains this case to a T, hidden knowledge and mystery. Looking back over it, I think it can be safely taken away that the perpetrator is a male and he doesn't have really any good qualities. The negative ones pretty much outweigh the positive ones. It looks like somebody that's just really miserable in general. I'm kind of wondering if it wasn't the law enforcement official. He's got a chance meeting here, an unexpected offer. It looks more and more to me like this police officer or this law enforcement official, I shouldn't say police officer because I'm not exactly sure what his title is, but looks like when he's met up, a chance meeting there with Daniel, when Daniel was cleaning his Jeep, he's extended an offer for him to come shooting with him, and either something went wrong out there or just because he's a nasty person who overindulges and has an ego and inferiority complex. He's rude and tactless, a bully, he's vicious and dangerous. I think he's the one responsible for Daniel's disappearance, is this law enforcement official. That's what I really truly feel. This would be worth going back and doing a follow-up on. I've got a spread for just the perpetrator and just one for case advice. So I'll do a reading pretty soon on those two to see if I can't get anything else come out, because I'm holding on to it being the law enforcement official being responsible for this. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, this is the Truth Conspiracy signing off.
Better bomb, better bomb, better.